The Book of Donley. Chapter 1.
The Johnson Act.
Disagree. Theology today is being overlooked by members of the Church, both Catholic and Protestant, and does lead to inactivity in participation. For example, the Johnson Act is nothing more than the politics of censorship that is totally un-Christian. Participation as a community was greatly stifled from actively passing the Johnson Act. The smartest, most educated men in the community was usually the pastor, who has been censored on their own. In theology, it is paramount that free speech should be allowed from the pulpit. The perfect law of liberty, James 1:25. Christ was censored by Pilate, who was doing the bidding of the money changers.
The Book of Don.
Chapter 2. The poor. We? The left takes money in taxes in their political economy to give the middle classes money to the poor. The poor are blocked from market participation by leftist overburdensome regulations and fees, and turn to drugs for the same type of temporal salvation the left is trying to do with political economy. Both are dependents and don't obey the ethics of liberty.
The Book of Don.
Chapter 3. The Jackson. He was standing up to empires that are built on phony credit. He crushed the money changers. That is a very rare moment. I don't care whose history in restoring market banks. He fought empires all his life and saved a nation from being swallowed up in it.
The Book of Donley.
Chapter 4. The Connection to Christ. Yang and Yin dualism. Profound and familiar. I've been reading the Tao by Lao Tzu, and strangely it is a reflection of Cartesian dualism in Christianity. 2015 is the year of the sheep in the Chinese zodiac, and I was born in the month of March, which is Aries the ram in Western zodiac. The collusion of two cultures, the word is sheep or goat.
The Book of Donley.
Chapter 5. The Captain America. Captain America is not Captain Government. America is his country, and the people in it are his nation. His national ethics are anarchistic individualism, sound science, also found in the Bill of Rights. He's not a low-life politician.
The Book of Donley.
Chapter 6. The Philippe. Philippe de Champagne, Vanité, c. First half of 17th century. Oil on wood, 28 by 37 centimeters. Musée de Tessé Le Mans. Ecclesiastes 1. 2 King James Version, KJV. 2. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Indeed, Philippe and Shakespeare's Hamlet are both inspired by Ecclesiastes.
The Book of Donley.
Chapter 7. The Big Brother. Big Brother, from the movie Orwell's 1984, made in 1984. Do you begin to see, then, what kind of world we are creating? It is the exact opposite of the stupid hedonistic utopias that the old reformers imagined. A world of fear and treachery and torment, a world of trampling and being trampled upon, a world which will grow not less but more merciless as it refines itself. Progress in our world will be progress toward more pain. The Book of Don Lee. Chapter 8. The Business. Our business is focused on helping people enjoy their pool or spa and assisting them to resolve any issues they may have. God is opening a new door in your life that no one can shut. Amen. Tip Tuesday. Chlorine-treated indoor swimming pools can cause asthma in swimmers. According to research from several sources, these findings may explain why swimmers are more prone to asthma and other breathing problems than athletes in other sports. The chlorine used to sanitize the swimming pool might have harmful side effects. Life is like water. If you block one side, it takes a different turn to continue its journey, so don't stop your journey with one failure. We would like to say thank you to those who gave their lives for the ideals we so cherish. Tip Tuesday. Pools need consistent chemical levels. Chemical levels are arguably one of the most important facets of pool maintenance. Improperly balanced water looks murky, irritates skin and eyes, and can cause your pool to become a breeding ground for bacteria. Ideally, you should test the water at least once a week. One of the most beautiful things in the world we can do is to help one another. Kindness doesn't cost a thing. Two things define you: your patience when you have nothing and your attitude when you have everything. Tip Tuesday. Did you know that swimming exercises can provide amazing health benefits and give you a total body workout without putting stress on your joints? I can teach anybody how to get what they want in life. The problem is, I can't find anybody who can tell me what they truly want. I asked God, "Why are you taking me through troubled water?" He replied, "Because your enemies can't swim." Soft and kind-hearted people are not fools. They know what people did to them, but they forgive again and again because they have beautiful hearts. God gives answers in three ways. He says yes and gives you what you want. He says no and gives you something better. He says wait and gives you the best. When you take things for granted, the things you are granted get taken. Only two ways to live life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. What's done is done. What's gone is gone. One of life's lessons is always moving on. It's okay to look back and think of fond memories, but keep moving forward. May your life be filled with good thoughts, kind people, and happy moments. Amen. Whatever you want to do it now. There are only so many tomorrows. The Book of Don Lee, Chapter 9. The Business. If you ever get a chance to swim with dolphins, do it, and you won't regret it. We swam with them in Cabo last summer, and today I want to talk about indoor jetted tubs. We often get phone calls from customers who have problems and want a service call. The sad part about this is, more often than not, the tubs have been installed with no access to equipment. Many do not want to hear this, but it's a sad reality because no one wants to pay for a service call where nothing the spa tech can do to help them. We do take calls for these tubs, but half the time it ends with unhappy customers at no fault of our company. This article puts these tubs in perspective of where they are starting from. Solar reels. Probably not the best time of year to talk about them, but for indoor pool owners, any time is the right time. This solar reel has the right size for larger backyard pools and, properly installed, is between 4 feet from the end to halfway in the middle. I ordered 12 new ones for Matthew. His foot jet is too powerful, and when he replaces the ones that are missing, it will work as normal. Other times, when there are broken or missing jets, other jets don't work at all. The Book of Don Lee, Chapter 10, The Business 2021. Today's lesson is calcium. The Reno Sparks area has mostly low calcium levels, and that is not good for your pool. Find out why, and why too high of calcium isn't good either. Winter is upon us. Time for soup and good bread, after a good soak in the tub to warm the old bones. I'm retiring from the pool and spa business and no longer doing any more work in the industry. It's been a fantastic ride with little regret. We served the community the best we knew how. The knowledge is now passed on to the next generation. Thank you all very much for your support. Vios, con Dios. The Book of Don Lee, Chapter 11, The Politics. It's not innocent to call 77 million Americans Nazis because they love their country. It's a lie that only ignorant, reckless people pursue. When Bill Clinton was impeached and before his case went to the Senate, I asked myself, what is with all this impeachment and high crimes and misdemeanors they speak of? The House Republicans brought off the Federalist Papers, so I went to Barnes and Noble and picked up a copy to read for myself. I was stunned by what Madison, Jay, and Hamilton had written. It really is a remarkable read, and also sparked my curiosity about their opponents, the Anti-Federalists, and what they had to say about it. Federalism became the law of the land. What was officially called a convention to revise the Articles of Confederation was, in Madison's hands, a coup in all but name. Armed with notebooks filled with years of study on ancient and modern republics, from Athens to Rome, from Montesquieu to Locke, Madison had no intention. California's tourist economy is in the pits, while Las Vegas, a non-sanctuary city in a non-sanctuary state, is thriving. Stock market experts have Caesars Entertainment as a buy stock. Caesars Entertainment Inc. NASDAQ, CZR. No King's Day in Las Vegas didn't allow any protests on public rights of way, i.e., sidewalks, streets, etc. Nothing burned down, no riots or arrests, no one killed. FAFO, because safety and security matters. SLC needs to learn from LV. A king decided to take our guns, and we stopped him at Concord Bridge. A military was formed in the new Confederation, and Washington led the army and was our leader. The new Constitution dissolved the Confederacy and replaced it with federalism, with a strong executive office filled by George Washington. He immediately set out to quell Shays' Neo-Confederate Rebellion and Pennsylvania's Neo-Confederate Whiskey Rebellion. This power of the executive branch, when fully maximized, is often seen as the power of a king by many Americans. King George III at the time decided to ignore tradition with private weapon ownership and went on the attack. Washington defended that natural right. The compromise was the Constitution of 1787, a strong federal government with specific rights given to the executive office, and one of them is putting down rebellions. Federalism is not confederacy. Anti-federalists were indeed Confederates, warning about the appointments of judges by politicians who would engage in lawfare, prophetic and ironic given the current situation. I feel for the Confederates' pain, but there is wisdom in the Constitution that can't be fully explained given that we live in an imperfect world. You got to love Beatty, Nevada. Nearby is Area 51, and top-secret aircraft have been seen flying over the town, and this Tesla charging station is par for the course. The broken-down vehicles and junk in this photo alongside Interstate 95 is common. The people are either escaping Vegas or moving back to Vegas with very opposite and polar politics, each that gives it some sort of weird stability, all fierce defenders of freedom. The boroughs are from a different age and time, oblivious to the changes. There isn't much of an order going on, it's all electric. Whenever I go through Beatty, I never stop for long, otherwise you might get caught in the vortex. Hitler and the Nazis were not Christians. They were de facto Odinists. If we trace the history back and start with the Vikings and the Teutonic Knights, we can see the roots quite clearly, like the death's head that is part of piracy. The Vikings were pirates who had a fascination with death to die honorably in battle. They would carry skulls and bones on their ships. Pirate ships flew black flags with skulls and crossbones, and death came with them. In the Napoleonic Wars, Prussians wore black uniforms with the death head on their bicorn tall hat. Then, moving forward to Richard Wagner, a favorite of the future Nazis, he wrote operas and classical music retelling the stories of the Teutonic Knights, Flight of the Valkyries and Siegfried's Death March. He coupled them with his personal anti-Semitism to clean the white race. The SS Nazis were Wagner adherents and saw themselves as Teutonic knights, retaking old territory lost. They wore the death's head on their caps and uniforms, and a belt buckle dedicated to God, Odin, but left that to ambiguity. None of this is Christian, or can logically be called Christian theology. Quite the opposite, in fact. The embodiment of the American creed that destroys sectarianism and unites us together in the perfect law of liberty. We are lucky to be of one religion. The Book of Don Lee, Chapter 12. The History. One of my best days was visiting the Edison Ford compound in Fort Myers, Florida, especially the greenhouse they had experimenting and inventions from plants. Who would have thought was on my mind that day? The age of invention was in full swing, complete with tariffs, high wages, high production, and lower consumer prices bringing about a complete transformation in scarcity. Goldenrod is often considered a weed, an unwanted invasive species cut and discarded. Reminds me of small kid time. Dad and Mom owned 56 and 57 Chevy Bel Airs when we lived in Ka'awa, Oahu, Hawaii. On certain Sundays, enough people would fill both cars, taking us all to church, even some sitting on laps as we did in the old days. If you had to, you could get there real fast. They were what you would call sleeper muscle cars, having none of the flash but all of the power. Very Christ-like emo for a car. California's tourist economy is in the pits, while Las Vegas, a non-sanctuary city in a non-sanctuary state, is thriving. Stock market experts have Caesars Entertainment as a buy stock. Caesars Entertainment, Inc. NASDAQ, CZR. No King's Day in Las Vegas didn't allow any protests on public rights of way, i.e., sidewalks, streets, etc. Nothing burned down, no riots or arrests, no one killed. FAFO, because safety and security matters. SLC needs to learn from LV. The last time we took a trip to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, our 4-star luxury hotel had a wall around it with barbed wire on top and a guard shack manned asking for documents when coming in. Every time we left the property, we had an incident that put us in an unsafe situation. One was very close to being killed. This was in 2018. On a 7-day vacation, we stayed behind the wall and wire for the last 2 days, but still had an over-aggressive staff trying to sell us a timeshare, even interrupting our meals when we wanted privacy, resorting sometimes to petty insults. This civil war is only expanding into and getting worse. The history of the Mormon Battalion is one of the most incredible stories of American patriotism, men who gave their all, yet largely unknown. At a family reunion for Bibees on my mother's side, held at Camp Success in Ely, Nevada, we were shown at least 2 great-great-uncles who were part of this incredible journey and history. I don't have their names, but if any family member has them, I would love to research their part. Follow this page and be amazed about the highest virtues of valor men can ever hope to possess.